What's going on, millionaires? It's your guy Kai Speaks here for another impactful episode of the Million Dollar Mind Podcast. You know, it wouldn't be the Million Dollar Mind Podcast if we wasn't here talking about, money, mindset, entrepreneurship. And today's conversation, we bringing all three together: the money, the mindset, and the entrepreneurship. And we got KC.DaGoat in the building. And I'm gonna have you put the camera on KC.DaGoat real quick. So KC is not only the homie, right? We went to Cheney University together, first HBCU. Y'all also, if you've been rocking with us for a minute, might recognize KC from an episode way back when. You know, it's been a couple years since we last had you in the mix. Sure. But KC, you've been rocking with this credit repair thing in this funding play for a minute. Yeah. Before we go into the do's and the don'ts and then all the sauce, just to our listeners who's rocking with us for the first time, just a little bit about you and how you got into the mix of just credit repair and financial literacy.
All right, man. I just want to say I appreciate you for bringing me on your platform. Amazing platform. I've been watching you for a while. I was on here before, and I just want to, take off my flowers to you and just say thank you, man. So my name is KC.DaGoat, CEO of Stay Vigilant, also the founder of Stay Vigilant. I started my business around 3 years ago. I always been in the space of financial literacy. I was an accountant. I graduated from Cheney. 2017, graduated in accounting, was an accountant for 3 years, fired my boss, and then I ended up starting with, Stay Vigilant. And I noticed that it was a need-based business. You know what I'm saying? It was a need-based business. They don't teach us this type things in school where it's a need, like using other people's money and not your own capital and getting the flip from it and just getting the fruits of what you just invested in somebody else and then paying them back on the back end. So what I do is, what my passion is to teach people that didn't know about it. You know what I'm saying? And, that's what I continuously to do. So, like I said, I've been in this company for 3 years, going on 3 years and a half. And, I'm just locked in changing people's lives. That's what I do. Somebody asks me, yo, KC, what you do? I change people's lives. I take passion about it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And that's a good icebreaker too, because, the next question that follow up is how. Yeah. And then you get into all
that's
that.
The conversation starter. Like, they be like, yo, what you do? I change people's lives. How you do that? Listen, this is what I do. I teach people financial literacy. Yeah. I dig deep inside credit.
And that changes people's lives indeed, because like when we talk about financial literacy, like you can't have financial freedom without the literacy. Right? Like everybody want to talk about the glitz and the glam, like, okay, let's get 7 streams of income. Let's get this business. Let's get this duplex. Let's get all these things that bring in money. But if you don't know how to manage that money, if you don't know how to get it together, allow one stream to fund the next stream, if you don't know all these other nuances,
you can have all the money in the world, but without money managing, it's nothing.
It's gone.
It's nothing. It's gone. Without understanding that you are able to use somebody else's money, but manage it correctly, you lost.
It's so funny because literally this morning I saw a post. It was talking about how Jackie Chan not going to give a dime of his fortune to his son because he gonna burn through it. Yeah. And we talking about over $400 million, right? So like just the mindset, and it's like we can go into whose fault is it, right? Because I feel like I would never make a statement like that because my kid already gonna know. Like we building a legacy. I'm building a legacy for them and with them, so they gonna know the ropes. But man, that financial literacy is important. Touching base on your journey, right? Because you said you started off as an accountant and fired your boss. Right. What did that process look like? What did that transition look like? What were you doing while being an accountant? Because like I was an accountant for like maybe all of 6 to 8 months. Yeah. And that shit was not pretty. I did not like it. Sit behind the desk. I know how it gets. So what were you doing differently than what most other people might be doing as accountants, or just in the space to set yourself up to do something like that?
So I did it all honestly, and shout out to my guy that put me on. He know who he is. Shout out to him. Amazing firm. But I was doing bookkeeping, audits, taxes. So I did all the 3 major accounting, form. So what happened was, long story short, this person, actually a family member, he owned his own firm, and he seen that I was in the streets, but he seen something in me. He seen a hustle. Right. You know what I'm saying? So he was just like, yo, I can show you some legit money, and I can, if you like it, I'll make you an intern, put you on. And this was when I was in high school. So I'm like, all right, cool. So we was going to like conferences, and I was working, but I was also getting paid. and I was getting paid real good at a young age. You know what I'm saying? So from there, I'm just like, all right, bet I can do this. I don't got to risk my life. I'm good. I can do this. You know, I'm not the smartest guy, but if you can teach me, I'll understand it. You know what I'm saying? So from there, he put me on, and I just been loyal to him. I was loyal to him from high school. I was still working for him in college in the summertime and things of that nature, and we just was loyal to each other. From there, once I started knowing it was time for me to leave, is when I started getting tired. Like I seen my situation. This when I graduated, and I was just making $50,000 a year. And I'm like, I can't really live. Like, if you really, and mind you, when I got shout out to my moms, she was just like, yo, I'm gonna just treat you how the other people treat their kids. I'm not gonna kick you out. I'm gonna let you save your money. But while you living with me, like basically I was living with her. So it looked like to the world, oh yeah, KC, like nobody knew what I did because I was always in my shell. I just started getting out to people. I just started networking. And that's when entrepreneurs is so key. And we'll talk about that. But when I was in that 9-to-5 space, I was just so used to that check.
Yeah.
You feel me? So I wasn't worrying about telling people what I did. They just seen me riding around in either Monte Carlo or a Challenger at a young age. You know what I'm saying? So from there, I started getting tired. I'm like, man, if I really look at it, if I went to go get my own crib, I would be, and I'm making $50,000 a year. Say my checks every 2 weeks was maybe $1,200 minus, like taking out the tax. So it was probably like 15.
You be living paycheck to paycheck.
I was living paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah.
So I knew I had to, and then I would get little raises every year, but it wasn't enough. That's all tax money.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm just like, all right, I got to figure something out. But I was tired of my situation. You feel me? And once somebody gets tired of their situation, then they'll start adapting and they'll start doing different things. And that's when the mindset, I always had a hustler mindset, but I was too comfortable. You know what I'm saying? I was too comfortable. And for me and my family, I'm always that first person to do something. Like I graduated college, you know what I'm saying? I pledged, I did things in that nature that nobody in my family did. So I told myself, I'm gonna be the first millionaire. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be the first millionaire doing what I do, and I'm a genuine soul. So my work and what I found that happened when you went to college with me, what I found out what happened was every time I talk, people listen.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand that when I was younger. But then I started, while I was transitioning to in the entrepreneur space, I was just like, all right, bet, like I can use my voice. But I was uncomfortable when I was an accountant. I was uncomfortable. I was sweating while I was talking because I wasn't really comfortable in the work that I was doing.
Right.
I just knew how to do it, and I was loyal to somebody.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It wasn't really challenging you or forcing you to, do other things or.
Honestly, it was on some, I was pretending. You feel what I'm saying?
Okay,
I was
got you.
pretending to be in front of people that really didn't give a hell without who I was, what I really did, what I was, they was just, it was business.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They knew who the real face was, and I just had to make sure the company looked good. You know what I'm saying? And then I was like, yo, they can fire you at any given time.
That's a fact. And on the record, this is a free speech platform too. So you could, speak your language, bro. Talk your truth. I know what you wanted to say, but I appreciate the consideration. But speak your truth, right?
Y'all gonna get this work then.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So man, so you wasn't really feeling comfortable. You felt like you had to fake it. Some people say faking it till you make it is how people make it. Like, what do you feel about that advice? And obviously, if that didn't work for you, what could people do differently that are like you?
Faking it till you make it. I say that's certain extent. You know what I'm saying? That's certain situations. You know what I'm saying? It might be times when you got to. You feel me? And that's a certain situation. But it's also times when you got to stand on all 10 and be who you are, because that person that who you is, that other person might really connect with you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? For example, let's say somebody is doing construction, but he don't really like that job. But his real passion is, I'm just make something up. His real passion is cooking, and he's probably the best cook. You know what I'm saying? He's being stingy right now because his real passion is cooking. And I would be more honorable if you gave your real passion a try versus something that you just waking up and you got an attitude about you really don't want to be there, even though it's making you the most money. All right, bet let's put 100% into your passion, knowing that it's gonna make you way more than what this construction job doing. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't leave my job when I was dead broke. I left it on an exit plan. Like, you know what I'm saying? Oh, I'm making 50. All right, bet. I'm gonna go to work, 9 to 5. I'm gonna go work out. I am also going to go to the gym because I'm a night gym person. So I'm probably won't get in the crib until 10 p.m. Right? From there, I'm gonna go eat. I gotta eat, shower. So it's probably 12, right? And then from there, I'm back on this laptop getting busy, working on my dreams. I'm working on what I got to go get. You feel what I'm saying? I'm hungry. I'm in that hungry stage because I can't ask my family for nothing. Like, you feel me? My mom, she wasn't no, 7-figure, 6-figure earner and things in that nature. Right. And she got her own responsibilities. So for me, I was on some shit like, all right, I can't ask them. And I'm not asking my friends because what they gonna do? Oh yeah, let me borrow 100. They give it, you either give it back to them or you get it back to them or whatever the case may be, but then they use it back to you. Like when y'all getting the downfall. Yo, like, you remember how they say some little slick stuff. I don't got time.
Or if you can't get into it right then and you need another 100, you ain't gonna get that other 100.
I really don't got time for that. You feel what I'm saying? So for me, I'm on some shit like it's either gonna work or it's gonna work. Right. So back to people being stingy, you only got one life. You feel what I'm saying? Go after what you was made to go after. You feel what I'm saying? And people just, some do it, and then when they hit that pothole, they give up. But you got to understand, and this when it comes to the mindset, like when I was starting it until this day, I still tell myself it's either going to work or it's going to work. There's no plan B. I don't got nobody to fall back on. You know what I'm saying? There's no plan B here. You feel me? And then from there, once I don't dig my hand in this pot, that pot. You feel what I'm saying? I dig my hand in this one pot and I'm mastering it. And from that one pot, there's levels to it. You feel me? Where you can continue to get money. All right, I fixed credit. That's one. I mastered it. Once I mastered it and I got people to work for me, I moved over to funding.
Yep.
You feel me? I mastered it. Now that I did that, I moved authorized users. Mentorships. I mastered it. You get what I'm saying? And then now, when I got all the money, now I become an investor. You feel me? And now I'm mastering that. What's a good investment? Yeah. You get me?
So it sounds like you got to have that intentional focus on what moves you with that passion, like you said. And it's right now we are in a day and time where it's so easy to be distracted. Absolutely. You see the watch me's, you see all these people making money fixing credit. You see all these people making money in real estate, Airbnbs, all this stuff to where now people truly feel like they can dip and dab, in every little thing. But you saying you got to focus on one thing, and not everybody's fortunate enough to have a 9-to-5 that is in what they passionate about, right? They don't love it. They might not even love the environment. They sick and tired of being sick and tired. So what would that routine, and we're going to just talk on this lightly so we can get into the meat and potatoes, but what would be that routine for somebody to, like, after work, like, get out of that rat race, get out of that hole so that they can find that lane that they need to stay in?
I tell people, man, social media is a drug. You know what I'm saying? When I did my journey, it was more so I took a break off of social media. I told myself if this social media, Instagram, Twitter, I think it was Snapchat at the time, if this social media is not paying me, I'm not getting on it. And if it don't pay me, once I take my break, my cleanse, I'm never getting on it. Because I was doing things that Meek was doing. I was doing things that other rappers was doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, shit, they can do it, I could do it too. You know what I'm saying? Or I can make it seem like I'm doing it. But guess what? I'm gonna be broke. That's when you was talking about faking it till you make it. Yeah, I was doing that at a certain extent. Like, you know what I'm saying? But fortunately, I was still living with my folks. Yeah. So I didn't really have a crazy overhead. I still understood money management. I still was paying myself. I get a check, I'm paying, splitting my check in half. I got my operating account, I got my bills account, and I got my savings account where I pay myself. That's my profit. So I would transfer money over. I would still be smart with my money, right? Because I was looking at other people money as an accountant. So I seen how they was just fucking it all over. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, all right, I can't be like this NFL player. I can't be like this athlete because, they got money. I can't be like this entertainer because they got money. So all right, I gotta play it a little smarter, right? So with that being said, to answer your question, how do you transition to after getting out that rat race? I tell people like this, man. Write down who you doing it for. Write down who you doing it for. You know what I'm saying? And don't be stingy. Oh, I'm doing it for myself. Like really write it down. Like if you got kids, like I don't want my kids to live the life that I didn't like I had to live. You know what I'm saying? Where, it wasn't as a fortunate. Like, you know what I'm saying? So write it down. Like write 3. I just need 3. 3. It could be your mom, it could be your kid, it could be your last name. You feel what I'm saying? All I need is 3. Write it down. And when times get hard, you look back at that note and be like, I can't give up. I can't give up. You feel what I'm saying? Imagine if fortunately, I didn't have kids, so I was doing it for other reasons. I was doing it because my grandma was my mom at the time. You feel what I'm saying? She passed, for her reasons, and I wanted to make her happy. Mind you, I was in the street, so what I was doing wasn't right. You know what I'm saying? So when I start transitioning to the adult KC, it was on something like, all right, I'm gonna make her happy. Yeah. And I'm gonna make everybody else that, it was, all right, I never had a pop. So who am I doing it for? I'm doing it to show this boy he should have been in my life. You feel what I'm saying? Like you gonna feel this pressure. You feel what I'm saying? I'm doing it for everybody that doubted me. You feel what I'm saying? That told me I was gonna be dead or in jail. I've been kicked out my crib. I've been in placement homes. I've been locked up. It was a counselor that told me in one of them halfway house. He was like, "Yo, you got potential. I don't want to see you in no newspaper." Right. And people, my cousin, his pop, I was going to the gym or whatever the case may be. I used to play ball. I still play here and there. But back in middle school, I was playing ball, and the gym guy his name was Creighton. He told my cousin Pop to tell my cousin to stay away from me because I was a bad influence. You know what I'm saying? But my cousin Pop was like, "Yo, he gonna be good." You feel what I'm saying? But I do the things that I do for those people that was doubting me at the time. You know what I'm saying? So just write down who you doing it for, why you doing it, and then the why. Hell yeah. The why gotta be impactful. You know what I'm saying? So when you gotta be bigger than you. It gotta be bigger than you. It gotta be bigger than you. You know what I'm saying? Like we got a tombstone here, right? And I ask you a question, right? You got a tombstone. And this tombstone, it'd be like, what's the 3 important things in the tombstone when you see it? Your name, the day you was born, and the day you die. Okay, but out of those 3, what's the most important that you just named? Your name. Your name, right? So if I was to get that question, it's deeper than that, right? So on the tombstone, what I see is the day that you was born, the dash, and the day that you died. Now, if I ask that question again to myself, like out of that 3, what is important? I'm gonna say the dash, because that's the time that you got on this earth. How can you be noticeable, rememberable? What did you do in this time that you was there? And that goes back to finding your niche. That goes back to finding your purpose. Yeah. You feel what I'm saying? So anybody that's listening to this is like, yo, it's time to boss the fuck up. You feel it's time. It's time. You can't blame nobody. You can't blame your old past. It already happened. What are we doing today, right now? Getting better, 1% every day. We not worrying about what our friends think about you. You got a business, promote it. If they don't like it, tell them to unfollow you. Right. Word up. Tell them to unfollow you. Shit. You ain't missing that one little follower. Yeah, you only got 1,300 right now anyway. Yeah. Come on now. Man, you spoke, you said a lot there that could really change the game for some folks, KC. And one of those things is just noticing how you take, adversity and like struggle and really using that to like propel you to the top, and taking every failure, every lesson as a stepping stone. Right. And I think that's what most people need to do. And unfortunately, adversity is the only thing that give you that dog, that what you said, that hunger. But when people don't go through some of the things that others have to go through when it comes to that adversity, whether you was homeless or you had to go through all these things, when you don't have to go through that still don't give you an excuse. No. Right? You still gotta manufacture some adversity, right? Like you just can't be comfortable. You gotta put yourself in environments where you're not comfortable, where you just gotta stand out and just and feel that. I mean, in that case, if you never been through something, and I can only speak on what I've been through, right? But it is people that never been through something. They was fortunate enough to have that family that taught them things and things in that nature. Congrats, right? But you still got somebody like myself that's hungry. It's gonna outwork you. If you up top, If you think you holding that crown, I'm coming.
Yeah.
I'm coming. You feel what I'm saying? Like, so you better be as hungry as me.
Mm-hmm.
You better not go to sleep. You going to sleep? I'm taking your food. Why? Because you make the most sales at night.
Mm-hmm.
You make the most sales at night when people sleep. The world stop at around 10, 11 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? So that's when I will be up. Look, I'm graveyard shipping.
And you think about it too, like if anybody else is up when you up, that means they just as hungry, right? That means it's like they either just as hungry or they really they really starving, and they looking for that meal that they need to take.
Absolutely.
So we talked about, you know, the fake it till you make it, and you got the Dave Ramseys of the world that's going to say, you know, cash is king, you know, and everything like that. And some will argue that, you know, you said to a certain extent, one of those extents, faking it till you make it, is leveraging credit, right? You know, leveraging money that you don't necessarily have now. Let's switch gears and talk about that. Let's talk about the power of, you know, leveraging other people's money and just the basics of how to do it responsibly. Because you got a lot of people, especially in our community, that once upon a time the advice was don't get no credit cards. You know, that you're just going to put yourself in debt. And, you know, we were scared of this for the longest time. What's the basics of just leveraging this and doing it in a responsible fashion?
All right. So the basics with leveraging credit, right? And I'll talk about the personal first, right? The personal. You got to make sure your personal is structured correctly. All right. 3 to 5 credit cards with 3,000 as a credit limit or better. No collections, no negative, no current late payments, no not too many inquiries. You know, 2 to 4 loans on your report to show. The reason why I say that is because we have to show the banks that we can maintain money. Okay. So this is the basic way. So all credit is 3 things: being in debt, maintaining your debt, and being honorable. All right. So now let me go back to me. So when I was in the street, that was the same principle, right? It was, all right, but let me borrow this because I didn't have money. So let me borrow this drug from somebody and then, you know, do what I got to do, make my own money, and then give it back to them. That's what the banks do. They let you hold their money. You either gonna buy a car, you're gonna make a play, you're gonna start a business, do what you got to do, and then you pay them back on with interest. So once I knew that, I'm like, all right, cool. All right, it's the same game, but now this is legal. You feel me? So what I say is, don't be scared of being in debt, because that's how, I know it sounds crazy, but that's how the world is. You know, the top millionaires are in debt. You know what I'm saying? Everybody is in debt. Now, it's a difference from good debt and bad debt. All right. Good debt is, you know, the accounts that you maintain and you looking honorable on it. And the bad debt is those collections that you owe that you never paid back. You said F the guy and you moved on. We got to get those off your report so you can look honorable. Now the banks see that you look honorable. They want to give you the money, but they want to make sure that you know, honorable in a sense. So, all right, if I give this guy the money, he'll give it back to me. All right. So the first thing is structuring your personal, making sure that you look honorable, that you got that on the report. So when you ask them for, you know, 10,000 or whatever the case may be, you're able to show them like, hey, I can maintain a card that's either 10,000 or close to 10,000. Why not give me that? You know what I'm saying? And now they give it to you. Now we in a game.
Yeah. So I could understand the millionaires being in debt. But that same millionaire, do they have more debt than they do cash and assets, or do they have more cash and assets than they do debt?
So it goes hand in hand. So at first, it's like some millionaires, when they starting, they're gonna have more debt than cash,
right?
Because it's working for them. So now, once they start making their money, then that cash, they get the cash, they pay the banks back, and now they're gonna have more cash than the debt. But they're gonna always be in debt. But to answer your question, once your plays start playing and they start making moves for you, you're gonna always have more cash than what you're gonna have debt.
For those that like might not be as tapped in, right? Like when we say the play, like what is the play? What does the play look like for people? Like what is the play? Because I just see it right now. Like what is the play?
Okay. The play could be anything that you're passionate about.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's the play. It could be anything that you're gonna put 110% in, that you're gonna be phenomenal in, that you really wanna, it's your dream. You know what I'm saying? My dream was to help people and change people's lives. How do I do that? I make a play. I'm drawing my playbook up, and the play was actually a credit repair company. So, I invested inside a credit repair company. I applied for a credit card. I think the class was probably like $1,000, right? I applied for a credit card and got a credit card for $2,500. I used that credit card and paid for the class. As soon as I got, I think 3 weeks, I started making money. I made $3,500. I paid that credit card off and I kept the rest. That was my play. That's when I knew it worked.
Yeah. So, and I love that you started off with the play being anything that you're passionate about, and that you would give 110%. Absolutely. Because you got some people out here running around running plays at 50%, 75%. Absolutely. And I've been one of those people once upon a time. Like, I imagine, being in a state where I would get some funding, pay for this course, but then only give the course like 50% because like, okay, I'm gonna do this, but then I also got this thing on the side that I'm doing, right? And then you don't reap the benefits, you don't see the return on it. So you saying that if you're gonna leverage people's money, if you're gonna get funding, it's like it gotta be something that you are sure of and that you're gonna put in the effort.
It gotta be something that you're gonna give 110%. Like I said before, like it's not. You can't give 70 is good. That's not, you're not going to benefit from it. Then you're going to go back to the person, oh, it didn't work.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You can't give great 90%. You can't give, you got to give phenomenal. You got to give. So when you just said that, you was like, yo, I took this course and, I was only giving 70 or 50, right? What did you benefit from it? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Just like, some information that may be transferable. You know what I'm saying?
You didn't really go your hardest to make it work. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got to figure out things that's, again, a need versus a want. So if you're going to invest into something, you got to invest in your needs. Because when COVID happened, right, only thing that was still operating, to my knowledge, you can correct me if I'm wrong, was the needs. You know what I'm saying? The wants, you couldn't go to no club. You feel what I'm saying? You couldn't party. Everything was online. You know what I'm saying? You couldn't go drink liquor, like go to the liquor store, things of that nature at the time. Everything was closed. Restaurants was closed. So that's telling you that's all wants. Now the needs, I was still running my credit repair business. Accountants was still running. People that was doing taxes was still running. Lawyers and things of that nature, or anything that was an online business, some type of consultant was still running. You know what I'm saying? They was all need businesses.
Yeah. And so when it comes to like using the funding to run these plays, what would you say, like, are all plays treated equal? Like if somebody want to get some funding to run the coaching play, or they want to run the course play, or they just want to get a loan to just kind of sit on it, are any of these ideal or advised, or should people stay away from certain things to use for funding?
So for me, I wouldn't tell nobody to stay away from anything. The reason being is if they think that it's a good investment, it's up to them to put in that work.
Yeah.
I don't care what it is. As long as you know that you about to put in that work for it, it's gonna work. That's why I say it's no plan B. Like when I told you I was doing, I invested into somebody's class for YouTube automations. Once I did the investment, I noticed I wasn't locked in that month because I was still traveling and things in that nature. So I looked at it, but I didn't go all in like I did when I started my own stuff, right? So now I'm doubling back and I'm actually locked in on it. For some people, they be like, oh, it don't work because you wasn't really locked in.
Yeah, you wasn't working.
You wasn't putting in that work. You didn't. A lot of people, they put that bedtime, oh, I'm gonna just go to sleep at 11. I go to sleep when I'm tired, like when I'm like literally falling asleep, looking at notes or writing my get shit done list. You know what I'm saying? I'm writing down my get shit done. So for me to tell somebody like, yo, don't invest into this, don't invest into that, I couldn't do that because your investment may work for you, it may not work for me because I'm not passionate for it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not passionate to becoming a cooker. But that might be, you might make the best cakes, the best cookies.
How do we look at it from a financial standpoint? Like to put it in perspective, like before let's say I got this idea, I want to run this play. And I need to get the funding because I don't have the cash on hand. I need to get funding to run this play. How do I know? Because it may not be the timing, right? This might not be my time to do it if I got to go through so many hoops and hurdles. What do those hoops and hurdles look like? And then how do I look at it from a financial standpoint as far as the return, or the return on the I mean, I guess the profit margins or the return on the investment, or if it's going to be worth the amount of obstacles that is required to even get that funding.
So your question is,
I know it was a loaded one. That was tricky. Yeah.
So
yeah, I'm breaking it down one more time. Like,
time.
let's say I'm somebody and I'm not too, well versed in this, right? Let's say I'm somebody that does not have the expertise, but I know that I have a dream. Let's say I want to start an Airbnb. I don't have, somebody told me, I got advice, you need 12,000 to, start an Airbnb, get it furnished and get the listings up. I don't have 12,000, but I know I really want to start this Airbnb. I might have at minimum 2,000 cash. How do I look at that play? What are some like red flags I should look for? What are some green flags? How do I just look at it to make sure I'm making the best financial decision?
All right. So the red flag for me, just by going off of your question, right? I didn't hear a mentor. You said somebody. Right?
Okay.
So that would be a red flag. If I only got 2,000, I'm investing into a mentor. I'm also investing in getting my credit. If my credit not fixed, to either get funding for the other, what you said it was 12 and you only had 2. So to get the other 10, you got to make sure your credit is right. So I'm investing my 2 inside a mentor. That's a green flag. I'm getting my credit fixed so it can be structured, right? I'm going to somebody like myself that can actually fix my credit and guide me on how to look at it. So when I'm done with this person, then I can also understand it when I'm at this table. Get some funding. You already should have done your due diligence inside that mentor class when learning how to furnish, how to look at, the money going in, the money going out, things in that nature. You go get that funding and then you go furnish what you need to go furnish. You know what I'm saying? The thing is, you got to commit first, figure out the rest later. Your first commitment should be a mentor.
Yeah. I like how you said that too, because most people look at it, okay, well, it's going to cost me 10, it's going to cost me 12 to start the business. But if I get this mentor, they talking about something, I got to pay 5 for the mentorship. And that's 12 plus the 5. I'm looking at 17. I'm just trying to go pay the 12. But you're saying don't skip that 5. You should go with that 5 first.
Because that's the cheat code.
Yeah.
If you got the right one.
That's to make sure you're spending that 12 wisely.
You got the right, if you get the right mentor, somebody that's going, and some do one-on-one, some do groups. My first mentorship that I went in, it was a group, and I was glad that I was with this group because it was people that didn't know things like myself, and it was people that did know things, but we all put it together. If we seen another class, then we'll put our money together, and then one person would take it, share the notes, and then we all eat. You feel what I'm saying? So just building that connection and also getting that right mentor that's going to actually teach you and not just be like, oh, I got this online course, you take it. Me personally, when I was in college, I never took an online course. I don't need to be inside that room. I need to ask these questions. So that's for me. You got some people that never been inside the class, but they took online courses. Whatever that works for you, that you're going to be good at, don't skip the mentor. Don't skip the mentor, because that's your cheat code. He's going to tell you all the mistakes he did, or he or she is going to tell you all the mistakes that they did, and then they're going to advise you to do it better. You know what I'm saying? If they're a great mentor.
Yeah. Now I'm starting to put the pieces together on why college is so damn expensive, right? And not saying that it's justified on like why it's like, I'm not saying that it needs to be as expensive as it is, but it makes sense. Because like when we talk about the mentor, you talk about a professor or...
For me,
give your piece.
For me, I had to cut you off on that one. Why? Because I've been to college with you, right?
Right.
I believe college ain't teach me shit. You feel what I'm saying? It gave me a good network. It showed me how to network. It showed me how to, I was living by myself. So when I'm getting these apartments, I know how my place supposed to look. You know what I'm saying? It was just a networking type of thing. If you ask your professor, you might got one, but ask your professor what type of businesses they own.
None.
Okay.
And I say that we are on the same page, because I'm right there with you. Like, Cheney, great school. It didn't teach me necessarily how to be a good business owner, but it connected me with people like you. Absolutely. Right? You know what I'm saying? It gave me the network so that I could have a show like this, and I know how to have a conversation with people, pick out the right information. But to your point, the reason why I brought that up was so that we could double down on that point, right? Because it'll be the same people talking about how there's no point in having a mentor, but they'll $80,000 in student debt. You know what I'm saying?
And you should look yourself in the mirror, right? You should look yourself in the mirror and talk to yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like it's so for me, once I know that it's time for me to make an investment, is because I look at the investment or I look at the course or whatever I'm about to invest in. I might be like, all right, I ain't gonna do it again. But if I keep thinking about it, I know I gotta do it because it's something in my voice or something in my mind that's telling me like, yo, just do it. Like, just do it and go hard in it. You feel what I'm saying? Go hard. A lot of people, they'll see it, they ask themselves questions, they let other people talk them down. But whole time you spent 80 in college. Ask yourself, what did you learn there? You know what I'm saying? If I would have had that chance, and fortunately I played ball. Fortunately, Cheney gave me a nice scholarship with Keystone and things in that nature, and I was able to go grad for free. But I probably, if that's not saving your life and getting you out the street, I would go find a skill, master the skill. Once you master it, you execute it and give it out to the world, and then you teach it. That's 3 ways how to make money. You know what I'm saying? That's 3 ways. You got the course, you learn it. So you're not going, matter of fact, too, you learn it, right? You're not going to make money right there. That's going to take your time because you actually learning it. Then you got to execute it. You can't teach before you execute. You got to execute what you learn. So that means you give the product or service out to the people and it's make sure it's a good product. And then once you master a year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever the case may be, then you're able to teach it. Now that's 2 ways to make money. Now you paying people. Well, people are paying you to get the information because they see the results.
Right. And it's so crazy. And the beauty of the mentors these days, especially with just online presence, is you can vet them out. Right. You could set up before you hand them your money. You could set up calls, and you either, if you're not talking to them, you're talking to like a rep that's well versed in the program and in everything.
Or you've been following them for a minute, and you can understand people's energy.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. You can understand people's energy, but you know, I be tired of people saying, "Oh, I got scammed. I got this. I got that." You ain't really get scammed. The number that you got scammed in is, 25,000, 20,000 and up. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't get a return on that, but 1,200, 1,500, no.
You just made a bad purchase.
Yeah, 3,000. Like, you know what I'm saying? You getting scammed in Louis Vuitton.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You getting scammed that way.
Yeah, it's facts, right? Because shit, we ain't even gonna go there. But what are some and we still on the mindset too. Like when you find a coach or a mentor that could take you from here to here, what's some of the questions you asking? Just so you've been following them, you went that far, but you still gotta vet them out a little bit. Right. You may be on a call with them, or you on a call with somebody. Like, what's some of the questions that you asking to just maybe put up those green flags in your mind? Like, okay, this is the person.
It's not really. I'm just gonna speak.
Or what you got to see.
I'm gonna speak on me and my mentees. My mentors that helped me and got me to where I need to be. All right. So, like I said, shout out to my uncle Jovan. Shout out to Big Business. Shout out to a couple of my homies. It's a list. It's like 10 people, but they my main guys, right? But it's more so I'm bringing value, so they know I ain't fucking around. So somebody, if you like, yo, I want to invest. Or not even invest, you just building a relationship, bring some value to the table. How can you help me? Because that's all this game is for. Like, you benefit, I'm benefiting. You know what I'm saying? You just not eating off my plate, and I gotta bring the whole table, silverware and things in that nature. It's just like, all right, bet. So for example, I met Big Business, right? And I met him at a conference. And, I told him who I was. He like, yo, I seen you before. Like, I see you on these social medias. And I just start giving out value. Like, and I'm giving out game. Like, and he told me, like, yo, there's no reason why you shouldn't be on stage. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he like, you want something, go knock the fucking door down and go get it. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, we built that relationship right there. Because I didn't just come out with a handout. A lot of people come out and they just want handouts. Now I come out, yo, this is what I do, and this how I can, or tell me what you do and how can I help you, because I'm educated too. And that's with anybody. So when I was just at this event last week on Saturday, it was millionaires in there. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And instead of oh, I would hear the conversation. God gave us 2 ears, 1 mouth. So it would probably be a conversation with me and my with him or the person and my guy, and I hear it, and then he'll say, "Oh, I'm from Philly. Oh, I'm from Philly too." You know what I'm saying? Oh, what you do? This is what I do. Oh, all right. You trying to go subscription route? Yeah, I go subscription. That's the platform I use. I can hook you up with. Oh yeah, let's connect. You know what I'm saying? And now, oh, this is what I use for woody woo, and then now we good. You know what I'm saying? So that's, and then now I can be like, all right, but I'm having this class. I want you to speak inside my class, or he's having a class, or he's going live, and he probably got he probably got a more better audience than me. But now when I go inside that platform, I'm giving out fire. I'm giving out fire. I'm not holding no type. I don't hold no type of information, because you got some people that's going to execute, and most of them not. So, for example, there's no type of, well, for to answer your question, there's no type of real questions that I'm looking for, that I'm like seeking. I'm just trying to feel your energy. Energy don't lie. It's gonna tell me if you're pure. It's gonna tell me if you just out here trying to use me. You feel what I'm saying? And then once I feel that, then I just, okay, I'm gonna just let you go. Like, you know, no hard business is business. I'm gonna let you go.
But one thing you did say that I want to point out is just the intuition, but the asking of the questions, not like what can you do for me, but what can I do for you?
Right.
And when you ask those types of questions, people can tell, and people can tell when it's done selfishly or when it's done selflessly.
Right.
Like you just starting off a conversation like, oh, what do you do? And you just generally curious in what this person does, so you can see if there's a long-term relationship between us, or if it's just like, hey, I'm glad, I'm happy to hear that for you, but I'm still going in this direction. You going in that direction. And that's just the mindset that people got to have.
And you can filter people out. You can see, like, the conversation gonna say a lot. The energy, how they look at you, is gonna say a lot. You know what I'm saying? And that's why you have to get yourself in order. You know what I'm saying? That's why you should live your life. You should travel. You know what I'm saying? So that could be the conversation. Oh yeah, like I said, I went to Dubai for my birthday. The guy that I was talking to went there, and we was talking about how, you know, I was planning on moving there, but that conversation started, led into, oh, all right, now we actually business partners. You know what I'm saying? And he's older than me, and he helps me, you know, with game, and I help him with game. He helped me bring in clients, and I help him with the things he got going on. You know what I'm saying? But it was just a conversation starter. I wasn't asking him, oh, what you do? How can you do things for me? Things in that nature. It was on some, all right, I'm going to be genuine, because that's all I know how to do. Now, if you mess up this relationship, that's on you. But I'm not looking for nothing from you. And they'll remember you too. You know what I'm saying? Those type of conversations, or they'll remember who you are if you bring value.
Absolutely.
You know?
We gotta get into bigger rooms, and it sounds like we gotta get into some of the rooms you in, KC, and you know, travel and get out there a little bit more. Speaking of the travel, right? You know, some of us get hit, some of us may not. Never had this happen to us yet, but you know, for the people that might have got hit with the apply for our airline rewards card, like what's your thoughts on those credit cards with the airlines? Are those worth it, or are you better off traveling on, like, you know, a personal credit card, like whatever?
For me, right? For me, I'm more so, if I'm traveling, if you can, I'm getting an American Express travel card. It could be a platinum. If you're traveling a lot, you can do the platinum, right? But if you're not traveling a lot, I would just say get the gold if you can. They pull from Experian, and the lowest score that you can have is a 720. All right, 720.
And why those two out of, you know, any others?
All right, because the platinum, it gives you 4 times the points. I think it's 4 or 5 times the points. Don't quote me, but it's a high number on reward points. And you sit luxury. You can go inside the lounge and things of that nature. You can meet people, network, things in that nature. And then, you know, your points accumulate up, and then you'll be able to travel for free when it's just time, things in that nature. The gold, the reason why I say the gold, because the gold is best for your everyday spend. It's cheaper. The platinum is $695 a year, and the gold is $250 a year. The perks is way different, but the gold is more so for everyday spending. You know what I'm saying? They give you points on groceries and give you points on dining. The platinum only give you the most points on travel. You know what I'm saying?
Like traveling, like with the airline specifically, or they know when you out the country and stuff like that.
So traveling with the airline out the country, whatever the case may be, but you'll just call them and tell them what airline you travel the most. You know what I'm saying? Then you'll book whatever flight through that airline, then through Amex app, and then you'll be able to obtain your points and things of that nature. But you got Delta, they give you good perks, you know what I'm saying? Depending on the airline, it all depends. But that's my first go-to cards that I'm always try to go get is you just starting off. If you can, I told you the scores where they look at American Express look at Experian 720 minimum, 720 minimum score. Gotta make sure your report is firm, 2 to 3 cards, 3K limit. They both platinum. I mean, not platinum. They both unlimited cards. Excuse me. They both unlimited cards, and I would go that route. Now, if you can't get that, then you got Delta, you got American Airlines, if those who you travel with a lot. You know what I'm saying? Or for me, you don't need a travel card because all you're gonna use it is for traveling. That's where the most perks is. For me, I'm probably go get a Chase card. I'm probably go get a PNC card, depending on what's giving me the most perks on what I do. When you searching and shopping for cards, you got to get the cards that's best benefits your lifestyle. So you can get the most perks from it. So you can get the most cash back. So you can get the most reward points. You accumulate those reward points, and you're able to go do the things that you want to do. You travel, like I said, I'm going out Greece Saturday, right? I'm going out Greece Saturday, but I didn't pay for the flight. My reward points did. You know what I'm saying? My reward points paid for the hotel that I'm staying in. Me and my mom are staying in. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I found cars that best fit my lifestyle. And when you on the business side, same thing. What's going to best give you the best benefits so you can accumulate the points.
And now you want to pay these, I'm assuming you want to pay these balance off in full, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. You want to pay them off in full. And then I think that's a requirement if you go to Amex route, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, they got things that they got like plans and things of that nature, but of course they put their interest on it.
Yeah.
Any car, I tell people, and I'm glad that you asked me that question so I can actually tell y'all. I don't have a board where I can get y'all pen and pad flow, but if you listening to this, please write this down, right? So when you're you got 2 dates. You got your payment date and you got your reporting date. Your payment date is the date that you're going to pay or you consider late. Right. And if you're late, that's 35% of your credit score. All right. So that's going to drop your score around 30 points. All right. You got your reporting date where that right there is the date that the banks report a balance to the credit bureaus. So, for example, if you got $1,000 credit card and you spent $500, what's that? 50%, right? So if you don't pay that 50% off before, let's just say PNC reported that to the credit bureaus are going to see that 50%. Always remember, the higher your utilization, the lower your score.
Right.
The lower your utilization, the higher your score. So then you got some people that be like, oh, all right, should I leave a little balance on my card or whatever the case may be? For me, if I just told you the lower your utilization, the higher your score, I'm trying to max out on my utilization because that's 35. I mean, that's 30% of your score.
You can't get lower to 0.
You can't get lower to 0. There you go.
Right.
You can't get lower to 0. So for me, I'm paying my cards off, where it's showing 0 on my credit report so I can max out on my utilization. So with that being said, again, the 2 main factors on your credit report is payment history, utilization. Payment history, 35%, utilization, 30%. All right. If you can master those 2, and you can maintain those 2, you'll see, your score will increase. All right. That's how your score fluctuate. Your score can only fluctuate 2 ways. Utilization being too high or too low, and missing late payments or getting a new negative on your report.
Now you mentioned having, again, we going back to, if you go on the Amex route, you got to have 3 card. You said 3 card minimum, meaning you got to have 3 cards before you apply for the Amex.
That's like my structure. I like to have my clients have 3 credit cards before they go apply for
right. Now talk about that. Like, why 3 cards?
The reason being is it shows the banks that you're honorable, that you can be in debt. You know what I'm saying? So if you try to go, just say you was the bank and I came to you and you pull my report and you see me have 3 cards and each card is $500 credit limit, right? So that's $1,500. But I'm asking you for $5,000, $10,000. You're not going to give me that. You're going to say, hey, go get a security card, put your own money down and see what you can do with that. You know what I'm saying? So 3 cards with $3,000 as a minimum or better, it shows the banks that, you got 3 cards, that's close to 9,000. Well, that's 9,000. Let's just say this, each card got 3,000 on it. That's 9,000.
And you ain't touch none of it though.
You don't got to. You can touch it. You don't have to touch
Okay.
it. You know what I'm saying? It's just a credit limit. They see that you can maintain it. You know what I'm saying? So let me just say this: the credit bureaus don't care if you touching it or not. That's the banks.
Okay.
The banks care about the activity that's going on. That's the banks is the ones that close the account. The credit bureaus, they want to know, are you meeting the data points? Is my utilization from 0 to 9%? So if you listen to this, write this down. Your utilization should be 0 to 9%, 0 being the best. That's green. 10% to 30% is yellow. That means you risky a little depending. 30% to 100, that's red. The higher your utilization, the lower your score.
Right. So you got 3 cards, ideally between 0 to 9%.
From 0 to 9%.
Boom, and you in there. Because you do that, you should be at a 720.
You should be, depending on what's on that report. If
right.
you got negatives,
you got to get those cleaned up.
You got to get those cleaned up.
And that's where they come see you.
That's when they come see me.
Got you. And you also, it's interesting because we was chopping it up before this conversation. You was talking about like you do like monthly check-ins, and you also offer your clients, outside of just the credit sweeps, like kind of like something like mentorship. Tell our listeners a little bit about that.
Absolutely. So for all my clients or anybody that's ever interested in getting their credit fixed, right? So for me, I get people in and out the door 6 months or less, depending on if they execute on everything that I'm asking them to do. But I also offer monthly calls as well. I'm not a person that's just take your money and then you don't hear from the head honcho, things of that nature. I want to make sure that you doing what you got to do, just like you're going to grind me up if I'm not, or my company not doing what we got to do. So in order to get you in and out the door, we had those monthly calls. And not only that, it builds a relationship with me and the client. You know what I'm saying? So now we got that relationship. Now you execute and you seeing fast results, because it's only going to take me 30 days to get some type of deletions off of your report. All right. So you see some type of results. You also see that I'm treating it like a mentorship as well. So once you sign up, I'm going to send you off videos based off of your report, things in that nature. So you have an understanding, because I also know that you're not going to be a client forever. I don't want you as a client forever. All right. I want you to get the game, soak it in, and then be able to do what you got to do in the long run. Right. Because what that's going to happen is that's going to allow you to be like, yo, KC just fixed my credit. Stay vigilant, just fix my credit. You're going to tell your family members, they're going to believe you, because that's who you are. I can't tell them and be like, yo, I fix her credit or I fix his credit. But if that comes from the horse mouth, then you good, right? Then I don't have to sell. I already did my selling is performing. That's all me and my company care about, performing, getting this person from where they lowest to the highest. Right. So when we on that monthly call, I'm sharing my screen. I'm telling you what came off. Why didn't you get your utilization down? Oh, this is why. All right, we got to start chopping it down, because I don't want to see an increase. I want to see a decrease. But I'm also giving you building accounts that goes on your report. Why? Because when we take off the negative, we also got to build this report up as well. A lot of people, a lot of credit companies, they'll get the negatives off, but it'll take some time for them, right? And then once they get the negative off, let's just say now it's day in month 9, then they trying to build the report, but now they still taking money from you. For me, I'm doing it all at one go. I'm building it and I'm taking negative off. So now when it's time to meet, your score jumped up either 75 points, 100 points, and you like, wow. I just got a text message this morning from my man. He said, chill out, bro. his score at a 700. He said, chill out, bro.
Yeah.
I said, I told you, just follow the blueprint.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you if it's gonna take some time. I'm gonna tell you if it's not. You know what I'm saying? But the whole goal is to get you in and out the door. It's possible. It's possible to change your situation. I was at a 500. Now I'm at a 740 all around the board.
Now, credit repair, just focusing on your credit itself is an investment. It's a time investment, but you also got to have some cash too to put down and make sure that you can maintain this. What does that look like too? Because I've heard debates where, I've heard people say, don't put yourself in a financially tough situation trying to keep up with your credit. And I heard people say, be very aggressive with trying to fix your credit as well. For example, let's say somebody got $5,000 in their savings account and they got $4,500 to $5,000 worth of debt that they only got one credit card. If they pay it off, they most likely be in there, right? But is that wise to liquidate all of their cash on hand to pay off a credit card just to be able to say that their credit score is good?
So for me, if I'm understanding that question right, for me, I would depending on what type of negatives they got on their report. You know what I'm saying? So if it's just their utilization, I wouldn't go get my credit fixed. You know what I'm saying? If it's just utilization and then inquiries, I wouldn't get my credit fixed. You know what I'm saying?
So that would be a smart investment. Like if it's no negatives and the utilization is the only thing hurting their score, and they had 5,000 and they also had 5,000 in debt. That wouldn't be a bad play to.
Nah, I'm paying that credit card off because your score gonna shoot up.
And you can probably get something back.
And your score gonna shoot up. And then let's just say they got 5,000 in debt with the credit card and they got 5,000 in their savings, but they got 15 inquiries, right? All right, let's pay that off. Let's pay that to 0 to 9%, right? It might be a class where, people nowadays is doing free webinars, right? They be like, all right, I'm doing a free webinar to get, inquiries removed. All right, why not take that class? You know what I'm saying? Or you might get some extra money somewhere somehow. Be like, hey, KC, can I book a consultation with you? All right, cool. My consultation's $100. I'm just making up a number. $100 for 30 minutes. It's more, but $100 for 30 minutes. But since you just made that investment, me being me, we going to be on there more than 30 minutes because I want to give you the game. Now it's up for the questions that you give me. You know what I'm saying? So now you could be like, all right, how can I remove inquiries off the report? You know what I'm saying? I just paid off my card. Then, all right, you already made your investment with me. This how you do it. The reason why I'm giving you, like I said, I don't sugarcoat on game. I'm going to give it to you. But the reason why I'm giving you that game because I want to build that relationship so you can be able to tell your peoples, like, yo, I went to KC, a genuine guy, the company is me, and he gave me some free game. You should go mess with him. You know what I'm saying? So to answer your question, that would be the best move. I would pay that credit card off, get my utilization, get my score up, see where my score would be at, and then focus on the rest. Right. Now, if you got your utilization, you got negatives on there like collections and things of that nature, then you make that investment and go get your credit from. You come to us, come get your credit fixed. We'll fix it. But while we fixing it, we're going to also give you game on, okay, you may need an authorized user while we fixing this. You know what I'm saying? Or, hey, let's start chopping it down. We're not going to put the whole thing there, but we could chop it down because we see what you already invested in. Yeah. We getting these collections off.
So it sounds like that makes the most sense when behind the action, there's something that's happening next.
Absolutely.
Right? Like it don't sound like it makes sense if you just someone who are OCD and they just don't like their score being below 700 and it's like you going to pay 5,000 just to see your score go up, but you're not doing nothing after. It's like this is meant for it to be a play follow after it.
Absolutely. So for me, we not just getting your credit fixed.
Got you.
You know what I'm saying? I'm asking you. So once you sign up, you'll talk to my team for a consultation. You'll talk to my team from my team. Then once you actually sign up and become a client, I'm calling you. What you want to do? Why you getting your credit fixed? I'm trying to pluck your head to make sure I'm not just dealing with anybody because I say no more than I say yes. You know what I'm saying? My name is all I got. My business is all I got. So I just can't get anybody in the door. I don't care about money. Money is, they print that every day. I care about results, testimonies. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, we'll have that conversation. What you want to do once your credit is fixed? You know what I'm saying? Oh, all right, this is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to do Turo. I'm trying to get a home. All right, we're going to get that done. We're going to get that done then. If you can meet me 50 and I meet you 50, my 50 is just getting off negatives. But I like to do more. You know what I'm saying? I like to do more. So I'm going to give you some game on how to build it. I'm going to give you some game on how to get this down. Now you got to meet me 50 because I can't build it. I just showed you the sites to build your report, but I can't just put my card down and pay for it.
Right.
I can't maintain it, but you can maintain it and I'm going to hold you accountable. You know what I'm saying?
That's big. And so let's transition a little bit into the trade lines because I've heard this from my understanding. I've heard that trade lines can be a good substitute for people who got to run these plays with speed, but right off the bat can't get a credit card, right? what's the game behind the trade lines? Is that a myth? Is that accurate? And how should people look at trade lines as, you know, something that's beneficial?
So trade lines can help in all ways. I like trade lines. The reason being is you can have somebody that don't got no credit card, but add two trade lines on there. And we looking at the credit limit. Trade lines, if you add a trade line to your report, you wanted to again be $3,000 or better, 0 to 9%, no late payments on there. All right,
and that information should be accessible from wherever you get in the trade line.
Yeah, you ask them.
Gotcha.
So if let's just say you was my family or friend, yo, bro, I'm in a mix of fixing my credit, but I need some help. And you got good credit cards? You say, yeah. All right, bet you maintaining it to 0 to 9%. Yeah, I pay it off, every month to 0. What's the credit limit on it? He gonna tell you, it's like 5,000. And what type of year is it? Got any late payments? Nope. So that's all green flags.
Okay.
Can you add me on? I don't need the credit card because people be scared to add you on because they
think you're gonna get the credit card and you're gonna spend it.
But you don't got it. I don't need the credit card. I just need it to show up on my report. Now let's just say you got 2 credit cards, both of them got $1,000 on it, right? You add that trade line that got 10. Now it shows the banks that you can maintain 12. You feel what I'm saying? Now your score goes up. Why? Because you just 10% is adding new credit on your report. So you got 35% payment history, 30% utilization, 10% new line of credit. You know what I'm saying? So by adding some debt to your report, that's credit.
Got you. So all a trade line is essentially just being added as an authorized user under a credit card. Right. So you could ideally do this for your kids.
Absolutely. I believe, don't quote me on this, I believe it's the age of 16.
So as long as they're 16 or older, you can add them as an authorized user. Got you. So this is why you can't take everything off of TikTok, right? Or even IG, because like I've seen something where it's like they say as soon as your kid born, you add them, and by the time they're 18,
you can Google it though. I believe it's 16.
Okay.
15 or 16.
All right, bet. So we getting ready to wrap it up, but so far, bro, I appreciate all the game you're giving us because I'm learning a lot myself, and we kind of already did this tango, a while back when you helped me out. So, just before we transition to the next part, if you got like from the time you first started this journey to now, what are like 3 of your go-to favorite, credit hacks to kind of help somebody go from 0 to hero?
Credit hacks. All right. So credit hacks that I usually do is again, is this for the people? Are we talking personal or business?
Let's stick with the personal, because most people, correct me if I'm wrong, in order to even get to the business, your personal got to be in order, right?
Right, but you got ways where you can build the business up as well without the personal. I like to go getting the personal right and then the business, because why not get money both ways?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I also like the personal and then the business, because let's build the personal up as a resume. So when it's time for business credit, all they got to do is personal guarantee you, which is called PG. They personal guarantee you, and then they see that you're honorable on that personal side, and they start you up. So I can go create a LLC tonight. And since my personal is fixed, and once I get my papers and my EIN and things in that nature, then once it's established, then I can go get some credit cards on the business side. It's not 2 years old, so I can't get loans yet.
Got you.
But I can get.
But you can get credit cards.
I can go get some business credit cards with 0% interest for let's say 15 months. That's a year and 3 months. I go get 3 credit cards, $10K each. That's $30,000. I take the money off the card and go run a play that I want. Or I see you having a mentorship about podcasting, and I'm really trying to get interested in it. I'm gonna use that business credit and invest into you as a mentor, because I know, all right, bet if I go all in, and being an amazing teacher, you're gonna teach me the game. I'm gonna make that money back. With business credit is no utilization, so you can max that card out, and with 0% interest, you can do minimum payments, and that minimum payments don't get taxed with interest.
Got you. As long as it's within that 15 months to 18 months, whatever the time is.
So you got to make a play, quote unquote, or you got to do something that's you're going to use their money and then give it back to them before that
and
time.
That's where people talk about, it's free money, essentially. Right.
When you hear 0%, that's considered free money.
Got you. Got you. Okay. Well,
but to answer your question, the plays that I would do is again, I would get my personal right. Here goes some building accounts to help people out. The first building account that I like is called Credit Strong. Credit Strong, they got a couple of plans that you could do. I always tell people, don't get into no debt that you can't maintain. All right, don't get into no debt you can't maintain. But the beautiful thing about these building accounts is if you go through something, you can cancel it and then go get it right back. You know what I'm saying? So Credit Strong is one. Self is another one. Self Lender. Cheap but effective. I go a lot of cheap but effective things. Kickoff is another one. And an authorized user is another one. You got Boom Pay. You can, get somebody to put rent history on your report. You can backdate it and they can add some history on your report if that's the issue. So, you got ways to make some money. You got Navy, another hack is Navy Fed pledge loan. You know what I'm saying? You go get a loan, you put your money down, you pay 80% of that off, and then the rest you pay off. And then now you got a relationship with Navy Fed. They see that you can manage some money, then you go ahead and you knock them over the head at night and go get a credit card. You know what I'm saying? And then another big hack is if you're doing an application, let's just talk about credit card applications. This is how people get high limit credit cards. If you're doing a credit card application, right? 4 things before you even do that, right? During the day, you want to call these credit card people, right? You want to ask them 4 questions. The first question is, where do you guys pull from? All right. They're gonna say 3 things: Experian, Equifax, TransUnion. Okay. The second one, what platform do you pull from? They're gonna say 2 questions. They're gonna answer it 2 times. Advantage 3.0, which can be your smart credit, which can be your Credit Karma. Then the second platform is going to be a FICO 8. It can be a My FICO. It can be your Experian. You just got to pay for the full version to see it, right? But once you get those 2 questions, the next question is, what's the minimum score? All right. Now what you're doing is you're getting all your ducks in a row, right? Your 4th question is, do you got pre-qualification, pre-approvals? The reason being is we don't want to go in there and get a hard pull, and if our ducks not in a row, you just wasted an inquiry. Now your score drops 7 to 15 points. You get what I'm saying? So now that you got your ducks in a row, the game plan is to start applying at night. So I'm gonna ask you a question, and I learned this when I was making $50,000 a year. When I was making $50,000 a year, I was only getting cards like with 1,500 on it and things like that because I was putting my actual salary. These applications is more so what do you project that you'll make. You get what I'm saying? So for me, I'm saying when I was making 50 a year, I was saying I was making 80. They saying, oh, what's your rent? Oh, all right, bet. I'm not telling them who is them to say that me and my spouse ain't splitting our rent. So if I rent 25, I'm saying my rent 1,200. But now what happens is the debt to income ratio plays a factor. So they see that you making more money than you dishing out. After tax season, you still got, let's say, 60. So why not give you a $7,000? Why not give you a $10,000 credit card when I see that you can already maintain 9? That's the play.
And so you saying do it at night?
At night because it is it's not a live person.
Got you. So these is like computer generated approvals.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's based off of the numbers.
It's based off of the numbers.
Wow.
So while y'all sleep, I'm graveyard shipping. I'm making money.
Literally.
And
it's like when you say at night, anytime after 6, anytime after 7, or later than that.
We talking me personally. I like to do anytime after 1.
This man about to have me sipping on some Starbucks and some goddamn energy drinks to be up that late.
I'm there 1 in the morning getting busy. You know what I'm saying? I ain't playing no game.
Hell yeah, man. So I got a question.
Go ahead.
Because we got 2 types of people, especially on this platform.
Right.
It's either they lining up this business credit, they hearing everything you're talking about. They're like, oh yeah, KC, you got me ready. I want to get some funding. I want to get my credit right so I can make this play, that play. Just got to figure out which one. You got 2 types of people. Some people going to run that play to buy a house. Some people going to run that play to start a business. What's your fan favorite? I just want to hear your personal favorite. If you had to pick between the 2, you got you got some funding or you got an opportunity to get some funding, which one are you prioritizing? Buying the house or starting a new business?
I'm starting a new business all day. You got people, just say a person A. You got some people that just buy liabilities or let's rewind it back. You got person A. Person A that don't know nothing about financial literacy, the mindset not right, is just gonna buy expenses. Person B is gonna buy liabilities, what makes it look like expenses. Person C knows about financial literacy, so they're gonna buy assets. You know what I'm saying? Them assets is gonna make you more money. And then it's going to pay for your expenses. So why not go through the business and then let that asset make you more income so you can be able to buy the house?
Right. It make a lot of sense. Explained very well and very thoroughly too. So you got A, B, C, and you said person A is buying expenses.
Just buying expenses. You get money, buying expenses. That's what a lot of people
so
do.
Just like the jewelry, cars, clothes. Well, cars technically
it could be an asset
or liability.
Because my jewelry is an asset.
And what's the difference between a liability and an expense?
So a liability is like a car that is equal to expense. You know what I'm saying? So a liability could be a car, a home. You just paying on it. You know what I'm saying? Like a home, if that's not bringing you back income, it's a liability.
Right. And it serves some type of
taking
purpose.
Money from you.
Right.
Expense, but you living in it. You know what I'm saying? Expenses can be you just spending food, unnecessary things. You know what I'm saying? Entertainment, you going home, tricking, whatever the case.
Expensive.
It's expensive. You're not getting nothing from it. You know what I'm saying? An asset is more so, you putting money into something and it's going to generate you back more money. So a car can be an asset depending on what you're using it for. You know what I'm saying? I just said my jewelry is an asset because that's my conversation starter. People think I rap. No, I don't rap. What you do? I change people's lives. There you go. All right, how? That's how I do it. You know what I'm saying? And then when it's tax season, they see, me doing things like that. I'm working, I'm doing things that I'm doing right now. I'm working inside my jewelry. So now I use my jewelry for deductions. You know what I'm saying? I just don't get different type of jewelry. I get jewelry that I know I can write off, things in that nature, or whatever the case may be. But it's bigger than that. It's bigger than jewelry, but jewelry is a huge factor in marketing. You know what I'm saying? People want to see, the bling bling and things in that nature. But the real, if you're going to get jewelry, go plain Jane, because you can get the most out of it. You know what I'm saying? You can get the most out of it.
Absolutely. So before this call, some of y'all might have been person A, person B, or person C.
Right.
After this call, which one are you now? Right? Like this has been a truly impactful conversation, bro. And I appreciate the game, the tactics, the strategies that people can use to really go from 0 to 10K in the next 30 days. It sounds like,
and it's bigger than what it's more so the mindset. I take mindset over skill set.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Every morning I wake up and I tell myself 5 things. It's called the $1 million mindset, right? The first thing is, when you hear the alarm, wake the fuck up. Don't snooze it. Because you was blessed to even hear it. You got some people that didn't even wake up, but it's a discipline thing. You know what I'm saying? The second thing is, make up your bed. You know what I'm saying? I had a problem with not making up my bed. And what happened was, during the day, I would go back and take a little nap inside the bed. You know what I'm saying? The third thing is, look myself in the mirror and talk to myself. And when you actually look yourself in the mirror, you see that you're the only person there. You know what I'm saying? The fourth thing is, a lot of people, when they wake up, they look at their phone, they get their energy to the world. You know what I'm saying? Get your energy to yourself. You know what I'm saying? And then the fifth, and please write these down. The fifth is, focus on the small wins. Focus on the small wins. You know what I'm saying? Because once you start understanding how I feel with the small wins, the big wins, you'll understand it more. You'll appreciate it more. So for me, you already completed 4 wins. Now the fifth one, you already winning. Like, you winning your day. You winning your morning. Then if somebody try to fuck up the rest of your day, they can't. Because you already conquered that morning.
That's a fact. And what are you doing? What's the first thing you doing when you, if not picking up the phone, scrolling? What's the first thing you doing when you wake up?
like I said, I used to be that person. Like I used to wake up, I snooze my alarm for a minute. I wake up, look at my phone, go on Instagram, because Instagram, all the social medias make me money. So I would look on that stuff, see who's hitting me up. But now I'm just like, I'm focusing on myself. You know what I'm saying? I'm finding peace with me. I'm not worrying about a female. I'm not worrying about my friends. I'm worrying about me. How can I make myself happy? I'm taking myself out to eat. You know what I'm saying? It get way deeper. I'm taking myself out. You know what I'm saying? I don't need friends. When I went through Dubai, I went by myself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So what I'm doing is what I just told you, those steps. Wake up, don't snooze your alarm, make up your bed, look yourself in the mirror. Don't look at your phone until a certain time. So my time is at 10 in the morning. You feel what I'm saying? That's when I can look at my phone. And then focus on the small wins. Have a get your shit done list. It's called, you know how people say to-do list, that's too cheesy. Get shit done list. You feel what I'm saying?
I like that.
And you write down what's your priorities for the day, your work and your personal. You feel me? So before 10 o'clock, I'm stretching, I'm meditating, I'm praying, I'm doing what I gotta do, but I'm writing it down the day before. So now when it's time, I'm just checking it off. Then I got my work schedule. All right, and then if something comes up, that's on a pending list. That's for a tomorrow task. I gotta focus on what I got going on right now. That's how people start getting, all over the place.
Bro, I got a similar structure right now. My getting shit done, and I do. The only thing I might have to change now is that I do it in my phone.
Oh yeah,
but I got it today, and then like you said, shit that come up like we here today already.
Yeah.
I done did today, yesterday, last night. I wrote down shit I gotta get done.
Right.
If it come up, I gotta automatically put it in tomorrow.
Right.
Because I already got my shit I gotta get done today.
You already got it done.
I like that. That's a good mindset, and it allows you to not overthink, overwork yourself.
Because for me, how I was looking at it was on some shit like I felt like I wasn't doing nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I know I'm doing stuff, but I can't see it. So now that I'm looking at it and I'm checking it off, it feels good. I'm seeing it. I'm winning.
And shit, and when you keep adding shit, it feel like you never getting shit done.
Getting it done. You know what I'm saying? You never getting it done.
Yeah.
So that's a great structure that I learned. Please use it. You know what I'm saying? And tell yourself like, yo, I'm gonna be a millionaire, or I'm gonna be whatever you want to be. It don't gotta be all about money. I'm gonna be happy. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be happy on whatever I do. But you gotta speak it into life, because our mind is a big thing. Like I can't even say I can't, or things in that nature, because I feel bad with myself. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I start grinding myself up. You know what I'm saying?
Facts, bro. Amen to that, man. Shit. We gonna end it right there on that note, bro. At this point, K, I just want you to just tell the listeners where they can find you, tap in with you, plug in with some of the things you have to offer the community, because there are some great things,
Absolutely.
a lot of value, and now is the time to plug in.
All right, man. So again, you can catch me on Instagram at KC.DaGoat. Again, KC.DaGoat. Twitter is KC_.TheGoat. KC_.TheGoat. Please DM me if you got any question after watching this. I do answer my DMs. I'm not one of them guys that don't. Also, I do run a credit repair company. You can catch that at www.stayvigilant.us. www.stayvigilant.us. Or you can DM me ready and get the link. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I hope this episode was a good one.
Oh, and for sure.
I appreciate you for having me out here.
You already know, bro. Anytime, bro. And anytime you want to come back on and drop some gems, we glad to have you. And before I get you out of here, I just want one last thing. If you was to walk out this building, and you walk past a spin image version of, 18-year-old KC, what would be some advice you would leave that brother?
Keep pressing. Keep pressing.
Full court or half court?
Full. Keep pressing. Stay consistent, man. That's all I gotta say, man. Win your day every day. You know what I'm saying? Keep pressing. Stay consistent, and it's gonna be tough roads. You already been through the real shit. You already seen it all. You already been shot at. You already seen shootings. You already been robbed, robbery. You already did it. And put the real risks out to the real world, the legit way. You know what I'm saying? The legit way. So that's what I'll tell them. I'll tell them, you already seen this episode on Simpsons.
You already seen it on Simpsons.
You already seen it on Simpsons. It's just time for it. Already happened, honestly. We just waiting for time to catch up.
Absolutely. And that's with everything too.
That's
Even
with everything.
when we have these visions and these goals, like you said, it already had happened. That's why you saw it. You just waiting for the time.
It's a man-made, you know what I'm saying? So just waiting on time to catch up.
Hell
It's
yeah.
already there.
Hell yeah, bro. Well, I appreciate you as always for tapping in with me, tapping in with my audience. And to our listeners, I appreciate y'all for tapping in with us week in, week out, every Monday, every Friday, in the comments, telling us what y'all like to hear, who y'all need to hear it from. And when y'all let me know, I'm able to do things like this and bring KC and, you know, many other millionaires, you know, on this platform to give y'all the game. And that's why it's called the $1 Million Mind Podcast, because you just tapped in for yet another $1 million conversation with a $1 million mind. My name is Kai Speaks. You just heard from KC.DaGoat. We out.
Let's get it.
Boom. That was amazing, bro.
That was good.
That was amazing.